Hi, everyone. My name is Jacque Vaughan.
And I'm Katie Zacherle.
And today we're going to be talking about the expense of buying a house.
A lot of you have probably heard about 100% financing options, no money down, that kind of stuff. But even when you take advantage of those programs, there still can be some costs involved with purchasing a home.
Definitely. So closing costs is the big one, but before you even get to write that big check at the end, you have to put down an earnest money deposit. So that's typically 1%, and it's like a good faith deposit, letting the seller know how serious you are about the offer.
Mm-hmm. And the good thing about the earnest money deposit is that we actually get to deduct that from your total closing costs.
Less money to the table.
Mm-hmm. So that's part of it.
And after that, you go through the process. You definitely want to have a home inspection. Mm-hmm. So what's important about that is you want to kick the tires of the house. Is there a hole in the roof? Does the crawl space look? Mm-hmm. I don't go in crawl spaces, so you need a home inspector to do that.
I'll go in crawl spaces as long as there's a vapor barrier. Yeah. And you could promise me there are no snakes, but I don't volunteer.
There's snakes down there.
Okay, then I'm never going again.
So I guess the next expense would be an appraisal.
Yeah, so the home inspection is really for the buyer, right?
It is optional, so thank you for bringing that up. And it helps you know what your expenses could be. Like, do I need to replace the windows? Is the roof in good condition? Mm-hmm. What about my HVAC system?
Yeah, and the appraisal, on the other hand, is actually a part of the loan process. It's usually a mandatory part of it where we're trying to establish the actual value of the home. Mm-hmm. Sometimes this can tell you if you're overpaying for a home or if you're getting a great deal. And then each appraisal has certain requirements depending upon the type of loan that you're getting. Lots of complicated, fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. And, there are some times where houses don't appraise because our market is so hot right now. So people pay $10,000, $20,000 over asking, and then the appraiser says it didn't appraise. So
we'll have to do another video on that to tell you what happens or what you can do when your home doesn't appraise.
What are your options, right?
So stay tuned for that later.
But
I guess maybe we should talk about the next cost, because the next chunk of it is really your closing costs.
Yes. So closing costs, depending on the cost of your loan or the price point you're at, could be 3% all the way up to
maybe 5
to 5.
Mm-hmm. That's a good guesstimate. So I like to explain it this way, that closing costs, that 3 to 5% guideline is just that, is a guide. And the less expensive the house you buy, the larger that percentage is going to seem. Whereas if you buy a more expensive home, those closing cost figures are going to look to be a much smaller percentage of the overall purchase price. And that's simply because many of the costs in your closing costs are fixed. But there's still some you can negotiate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point. And we have another video that will go into a little bit further about closing costs, but we did want to give you a general idea of what your expenses to buy a home is.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, should we dive into what those closing costs are?
Yes,
specifically.
Do it.
Okay. So the good thing about closing costs is that a big chunk of them really comprise of monies that you're putting forward for yourself. They're not fees that you're paying anyone. You're going to be prepaying the first year of your homeowner's insurance, and you will also be paying a portion of your taxes up front and establishing an account where your tax payments will come from in the future. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Other than that, we pay for title searches. And those are wonderful, valuable things. Title companies do great things. They make sure that the home that you're about to buy is going to stay yours, that no one else can make any claims on it.
And you do have the option to get optional owner's title insurance, which allows you to protect yourself from a future encumbrance that might happen if somebody claims right to that property after you've moved in.
Yeah, it's a big help. So if you've got more questions, feel free to drop them in the comments or shoot us a message.
We'd be happy to answer them, and we have our information below because we love to talk to you one-on-one.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Bye.